A message from Yoshida Shoin to the people of today. Part 1. Introduction. A greeting to the modern era and an introduction. Greetings, everyone. My name is Yoshida Shoin. I was an educator who lived about 170 years ago, during the turbulent period of transition known as the Bakumatsu. I am truly delighted to have this opportunity to speak with you all in this manner. The era in which I lived was a tumultuous one, a time when Japan was on the verge of being swallowed up by a great wave of transformation. Foreign ships arrived on our shores, and the old ways of thinking were no longer sufficient. It was a time of great anxiety and confusion for many. When I look at your world today, it seems to me that you find yourselves in a very similar situation. Technological progress is astonishing. The structures of society are changing by the day, and I imagine many of you live with a sense of uncertainty about the future. Although I departed this world at the young age of 29, I learned something profound in my short life. It is this: no matter what era, there are timeless, essential principles for how one should live. Today, it is these important truths that I wish to share with you. Part 2. The importance of learning, on the attitude towards knowledge and growth. First, I would like to speak about the importance of learning. In my youth, I believed that reading is the foundation of scholarship. However, merely reading books cannot be called true learning. What is essential is to make that knowledge a part of your very being and to translate it into concrete action. You who live in the modern age are surrounded by an amount of information that is simply incomparable to my time. It is a marvelous era where, through the internet, you can access the knowledge of the entire world. But for that very reason, there is something I must caution you against. And that is the fact that acquiring information and truly learning are two different things. At my academy, the Shokasonjuku, I constantly asked my students, "Why is that so? And now that you know this, how will you act?" Knowledge is merely a tool. How you use that tool is what will define your life. For example, even if a farmer acquires a new tool, he will never achieve a bountiful harvest unless he learns how to use it and actually puts it to work in his fields. Scholarship is the same. The knowledge you acquire only gains its true value when you apply it in your daily life and use it to serve those around you. To all of you today, I sincerely hope that you will cherish a spirit of lifelong learning. Regardless of your age, maintaining an attitude of continually learning new things will become the strength you need to navigate this era of rapid change. Part 3. On having a purpose, finding your life's goal and mission. Next, I wish to speak about the importance of having a high purpose, or kokorozashi. I have always believed that establishing one's purpose is the true starting point of life. A purpose is not a mere goal or a simple wish. It is born from discovering the meaning of your own existence in this world and from earnestly asking yourself what you can do for the good of society. For me, the arrival of the black ships from the West was a major turning point. When I witnessed firsthand their advanced technology and knowledge, a question arose deep within my heart. What must I do to protect and advance Japan? This very question became the origin of my life's purpose. I hope that each of you in the modern age will also find your own purpose. It does not have to be something grand. Cherishing your family, working with integrity at your job, contributing to your local community. All of these can be noble aspirations. What is important is that your purpose is not for yourself alone, but for the sake of someone else, for the sake of society. The students I taught at the Shokasonjuku, men like Takasugi Shinsaku and Kusaka Genzui, also began with small aspirations. But by nurturing those aspirations and putting them into action, they eventually became a force that moved history. To have a purpose is to give your life direction. When you face doubt or hardship, if you have a purpose, a path will always open before you. It is precisely because modern society is so complex that it is vital for each and every person to have a clear purpose. Part 4. Facing Adversity. The Mindset to Overcome Hardship. Life will inevitably present you with hardships and adversity. I too experienced many trials. The greatest of these was when I was thrown into prison after my failed attempt to stow away to America. At the time, I was driven by a single-minded desire to learn from the advanced scholarship of the West, and I risked my life in the attempt. But the plan failed, and I was captured as a criminal. In that prison, I reflected deeply on my actions. But at the same time, I came to a realization: hardship and failure are never in vain. On the contrary, they are precious experiences that allow us to grow and become stronger human beings. Life in prison was certainly difficult, but I learned a great deal there. I was exposed to the lives of my fellow prisoners and felt the various problems of society firsthand. It was because of this experience that I was later able to provide an education at the Shokasonjuku that was rooted not just in theory, but in reality. I am sure that you, too, will face various difficulties: failures at work, troubles in your relationships, health problems, and more. At such times, I urge you to ask yourself what that hardship is trying to teach you. Hardship does not exist to test us. It exists to help us grow and to cultivate a deeper humanity. The cherry blossom blooms so beautifully precisely because it has endured the harsh cold of winter. Human beings are the same. It is by overcoming adversity that we can attain true strength and beauty. Part 5. A Call to Action for the People of Today. Finally, there is one last thing I wish to convey to all of you living in the modern world. The Bakumatsu era in which I lived was certainly a time of chaos and uncertainty. But at the same time, it was an era filled with new possibilities. As the old systems and ways of thinking crumbled, an opportunity arose to create a new Japan. Does your modern era not seem the same? Society is changing dramatically due to technological innovation, and there are more and more situations where the old common sense no longer applies. But there is no need to lament this. Rather, you should see it as a golden opportunity to create a new era. At the Shokasonjuku, I called out to my many young students, "Now is the time to rise." I wish to say the same thing to all of you today. Do not fear change. Instead, find the opportunities within it. Have the courage to keep learning, to hold on to your purpose, and to stand up to adversity. The power of one person may be small, but when people who share the same purpose come together, they will surely become a great force. Just as my students did, I hope that you will work together with your comrades to build a better society. Allow me to leave you with one of my favorite sayings. Shisei nishite ugoka zaru mono wa imada kore arazaru nari. It means, there is nothing that cannot be moved by absolute sincerity. If you act with a true and sincere heart, you can move anything. I pray from the bottom of my heart that your lives will be wonderful and filled with sincerity. And I have great expectations that each and every one of you, as students of the Shokasonjuku of this new age, will go on to forge a new era. Thank you.